Someone in our Facebook group actually just made a post about people who are like inconsiderate in the morning. Like she posted about her roommate and was asking,
no,
like,
it's her girlfriend.
No. It was the one who made the post was a roommate. Somebody in the post commented that their girlfriend does the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Maybe
then I posted that my dad does that.
My dad is the same as your dad. I read that.
In the world is that? It's the most bizarre thing. Like, and he's done this forever. Mm-hmm. Like if for whatever reason we were sleeping in the living room or whatever, he wakes up at like 4:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Like
same.
that's when he gets up. And so I've gone home and been
devil
sleeping.
Shit's this.
I know.
I've gone home and like slept on the couch in the living room, and he will get up at 4 a.m. First of all, the heaviest stomper I've ever heard.
Yep.
Like, stomps through the house.
All lights on.
Turns on all the lights in the kitchen.
Yep.
Washes all the dishes, banging all the pots and pans, and he will turn on. He's like, now's the time to run the garbage disposal. Or he only drinks coffee that is ground up, like that he grinds himself.
Yes.
So he'll run the coffee
This
grinder.
is my fucking dad too.
What is wrong with you? And he doesn't understand why that would be like inconsiderate.
Infuriating too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At
sorry. Excuse me for living.
It'd be one
exactly.
thing if it's like 8 a.m. You know what I mean? But like
4 or 5?
4:30,
outta
5
here.
o'clock. Yeah, my dad the same.
It's to the point where like my mom, like once my brothers were kind of like out and moved, there, like the way my house is constructed is like there's 2 bedrooms downstairs, 2 upstairs. And so she moved my littlest brother upstairs, and then she sleeps in a different room because he would wake her up to talk, to chat at like 4:30, and she's like, what? And then he wouldn't understand why she was upset that she was awoken out of sleep to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I know. I love him, but
definitive night owl. Like I will never, ever, ever be okay with being woken up at like 4:30 in the morning to talk.
Never. It better be a fucking emergency.
Yes.
Honestly, it better be an emergency.
Listen,
my God.
and I've become more of a morning person, but still, I don't enjoy it necessarily. Chuck wakes me up, and I'm still like, "Fuck you, you little bastard!"
Right?
And it's like 6:30.
Well, no, because you were talking about like you get up in the morning and it's like you like to just
enjoy my
quietly, like quiet.
Yes.
It's quiet time.
Yes. Yeah, I understand.
No talkies.
I'm not a morning person, but I understand the benefits of it. It's like that is really if I know I need to be super productive, I'll be like get up early, because like that early morning when it's quiet and the world isn't awake yet is the most productive time.
Yeah.
Is like early in the morning, but I don't do it for funsies. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing it for a purpose.
Also, I'm also very considerate. Like Chris is very considerate when he wakes up during the week. If I'm working from home, I don't have to be up as early as him, and he's very respectful, very quiet. He only turns on lights like that are dimmer, like that aren't going to shine right in my face. Like he doesn't put on the whole bedroom light. He puts on the closet light.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But
that's
like,
what you do. Your cat is like my dad. Apparently.
Exactly.
Clearly, like he's
loud
like
stomping. He does like fresh ground coffee.
yeah.
So he grinds it.
only fresh ground.
Oh my
is
God.
acceptable.
The avocados.
Okay.
You have to tell Keegan the avocados.
So Chuck is such a dick. He's been spoiled with, he had gravy food this last round.
Matilda's favorite.
Oh yeah, it's Chuck's favorite for sure. And he got really kind of weird because we had to go back to pate. Well, that's what he should be eating. And he apparently was being a bit spicy, and Chris came home and found him. He'd just bought a whole bag of avocados, and Chuck had taken one single bite out of every single avocado in the bag.
And it's like,
the bag.
sir, did you have to pick the most expensive piece of produce that I own? Like avocados are expensive.
A bite out of every
All
single
of
one.
them.
I feel like in my head he went like this. He was like, "Nom,
Fuck you.
No, I don't like that one. Let me try this one. Nom, nope, don't like that one either. Let me try this one. Nom." Like he went through each of them and was like, "No, that's
I
not
don't like
something."
any of them.
Matilda
Try that
really
one.
likes avocados too. Like if I'm eating guacamole, she like wants to come over and like lick it. Like she wants the guacamole.
so weird.
I don't know what it is, but I mean, I guess I'm guessing avocados are probably are avocados good for animals? I don't know. In my head, I'm like, maybe it gives them a shiny coat.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like I should make their
knows
fur
what-
really
look,
shiny.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Oh, shit.
bro,
Brohim.
Brohim. He was in here earlier, and
Spicy.
he's like, before we were and while we were setting up, and I was like, oh, he's trying to see how the setup goes for his podcast later.
Yeah, he was sitting in my chair, like in front of the computer and stuff
mic,
like that.
You know,
just like that's awesome.
Did you guys hear? Of course you did. Of course you did, because everyone has. But Harry and Meghan are like deuces.
Megxit.
Yeah, they're like goodbye.
What was the post somebody posted on her thing? It was like Meghan helps somebody escape a cult, basically.
Yeah,
it was like
exactly.
The headline was like
hereditary cult or something like that. Yeah, which is accurate. It's great.
Dude, I do not blame them one bit
at all. And the way that they've
them.
been to Meghan has been like fucking
Fuck
awful,
you.
Terrible.
And why would
so
I
racist?
not wanna leave?
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah,
you, I'm
totally.
outta here.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
and we were talking about a touch last night. Like, I'm sorry, Harry is literally seeing what happened to his mom happen pretty much to his fucking wife.
absolutely.
And of course has PTSD
Yeah,
over, how he lost his mother and how the paparazzi were. Get the fuck, I agree with them. Get the fuck out.
yeah,
Bye.
yeah. I'm
for
totally here for it. It's not my kind. I don't understand. It doesn't mean the same thing to us as it does, I think, to people over there. But yeah, if I was treated that way and the way that they've been to her, how hypocritical, how racist and everything, I'm glad that they're just like, well, fine.
And also, why does anyone really fucking give a shit?
Yeah.
Like what they do is a thing. Like to care so much about like, oh, I can't believe they're leaving the royal family. Like, what's it to you? What does it matter?
Right.
They're like, he's like sixth in line for the throne.
No,
who cares? It doesn't affect you in any way at all. Let them live their life. It doesn't matter.
Even if it did, even if he was like third in line to the throne or fourth, like who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like honestly, why does it matter if he did get called to the throne? Him living in North America for the years does not.
Well, essentially, you have to resign your duties. So, like, he is like he's pretty much withdrawn himself from the line of succession, like because fine. So, I mean, I don't know how it works, but I don't think he could be called in to be like they just go on to the next person.
Sure,
but who cares? Like that's kind of like his prerogative. It doesn't matter. So, like, what the fuck ever. Did you guys see? Apparently. Will and Kate were they did like a Christmas special for the BBC. Mm-hmm. And there's like, we are the most insane society like of all time. Because there's like literally maybe half a second moment where Will tries to touch Kate's shoulder and she like pulls away.
Oh.
And I watched like literally a 5-minute thing on Canada where it was two like Canadian talk show like hosts analyzing this that like half a second moment. They were literally playing it back. I've said literally like 18 times. I'm so sorry. But they were playing it back like it was a football replay, like slow-mo. Analyzing the behavior.
They were doing X's and O's and like lines.
And I'm like, this is
we've
insane.
done that with Melania and Trump.
Oh yeah.
Totally. I'm like,
yeah, but it wasn't quite like that. Like Melania's hatred for Trump is like
it's palpable.
Visceral.
Yes, it is thinly veiled.
But I think that's why this makes it such a story, because the fact that it was almost a bodily reaction, not necessarily
like
a thought. You see what I'm saying?
Subconscious.
Like, it was so subconscious that her body just did it. Makes me wonder, like,
well, they were talking about
like, if you're triggered by something or you're carrying something, you're like,
they were talking about how it was because there are all these. Have you guys heard all the rumors about Will cheating on her?
Rumors, yeah,
honey,
with like what Rose Chumley or whatever her name is.
Yeah, she was like literally looks like the poor man's version.
Oh yeah, and they're like model Rose Chumley. I'm like, that's an example of a model who is a model because she's got money. Yeah, that is not.
You pay people to take pictures of you.
Yes, yeah. I'm like, ma'am, if you were making $40,000 a year, you wouldn't be a model. At all, honey. But yeah, apparently, like, there's all these rumors that he's cheating on her, and I'm like, oh
my gosh. But yeah, no, you do that, and that's the thing. Sometimes it's because like you fucking left dishes in the sink. You know what I mean? You're just
Yeah,
like,
it could literally be
it could
nothing.
be literally nothing.
They could have had just
a little tiff.
Right before.
Yeah, right.
You know, because that's definitely happened whenever you've had just like a disagreement where you guys are kind of on edge and then you have to go and be around people. And so you're just like, every little thing you do is pissing me off right now.
Right now. Like you're talking.
Every little thing you do really pisses me off.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just like trying to smooth things over a little bit, like, right, honey? And she's like, get the fuck off me. Don't touch me.
We'll talk about this later.
We'll talk about this later.
We will talk about this later is literally so triggering.
And honestly, it just fills you with anxiety. It's like getting a text message that's just like, hey, I need to talk to you about something.
No,
you're like,
don't do that.
Never
do that.
Hey, we need to talk. Nope.
We're talking now.
Yeah, you need to
pick up the phone.
Expect a phone call.
I'm calling you right away.
Yeah.
I'm coming wherever you are because this needs to be talked about immediately.
No.
Speaking of talking about, this is My Worst Date podcast. I'm Christina.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie.
Hi.
We have new patrons this week.
We do.
We definitely do. Want to give a shout out to my girl, Laura Lee Conyer. I knew her as Laura Lee Stegall back in the day, which was a Wednesday.
Yes.
No, we used to be camp counselors together. She's been a listener from the very beginning. She is an OG, and we're so appreciative of everything that she's been for the podcast, like been there for us in the Facebook group and now on our Patreon. So we love you.
Thank you so much. We're so happy to have you. We also have Catherine Haynes.
What's up, Catherine?
So welcome, Catherine.
Welcome.
And we have Nicole Slogenhoop.
Bienvenue.
Bienvenue, and thank you. We really appreciate just everything. We get so excited. We text back and forth.
We do
every time there's
a new patron,
or like a funny post, or just a new story in the inbox. Just you guys interacting with us just makes our lives. So thank you.
Yeah, it never goes unnoticed. I want everybody to know that. Like anytime you guys do anything for us, we acknowledge it, we notice it, we appreciate it so much. So thank you so much.
All right, that was nice and mushy.
Okay.
Nice and mushy in the morning. What else we got?
So there, a couple days ago, somebody posted on Twitter. Aiden Moore wrote, "Tell me a story about yourself that sounds like a lie, but is absolutely true." And some of the things that people wrote were fucking hilarious. This one stuck out to me because I don't know why it's so fucking funny to me. This person said, "In college, I fell out of my bunk bed and broke both of my legs and one arm." Could you fucking imagine, first of all? That's fucking wild. Years later, on a date, I made a joke about being clumsy, and the dude told me I couldn't compare to the woman his EMT brother helped once who fell out of her bunk bed and broke all the bones. It was me.
You're like, oh, I know your brother.
Oh.
You're like, that was actually
also,
me.
Just how does that happen? Like, in what way did you fall out of a bunk? Because I grew up on bunk beds, and I've fallen out of many a bunk bed.
My sister broke her arm falling out of a bunk bed.
Yeah, I don't think it's that difficult, but to break both arms and a leg, like, I'm worried about your calcium intake.
Yeah, no, that's insane. Like, how would you have to fall to break that many bones?
It's a lot. How high is this bunk bed?
Yeah, it's like a triple decker.
Right?
It's like,
or did she hit like a desk on the way down? It was like boom, boom. You know what I mean?
Hit everything on the way down. Just
like a cartoon.
Pinballed against everything. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just have very strong bones because I've never broken a bone.
I've never broken a bone.
Yeah, and I have fallen out of trees. I've fallen out of bunk beds.
Yep.
I have been like double bounced out of a trampoline.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is the reason why I don't do like crazy ass shit like ski. Like, no, thank you.
I have no desire.
I'm good.
I'm not going to tempt fate. I typically do not like to put myself on objects that propel me faster than I can naturally go because I just really feel like, skiing, snowboarding, skydiving, all that fucking crazy shit. No, thank you. This is the reason why I haven't broken any bones.
We're staying safe. I mean, I did slam my thumb. Were you guys around when I did that? I slammed my thumb, like I shut it in the car door.
No,
I shut the car door.
Oh, God.
I've definitely done that.
I have a scar on my thumb still.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see it like right here. I have a scar on my thumb. We were at Disneyland.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? We were at Disneyland and we came back to the hotel after in the lift, and I went to steady myself as I got out because it was like a really tall car, and I like steadied myself as I got out, and I put my hand on the door and then wasn't thinking and slammed the car door shut. I shut it. I had to reopen the door to get my hand out.
God.
And
the cuss words that I'm thinking in my mouth.
I didn't even say anything. I said nothing, and then as soon as he drove away, I was like, Anthony? And so we had to like go to the front desk, get like Band-Aids and like all the paper towels.
Oh my
And then we
God.
went to the like kitchen area and like got a whole like cup of ice and just like, and we had to drive back from Anaheim and it was bleeding so
Oh
bad.
my
It
God.
swelled up to like 3 times its size. And Anthony was like, I think we should go to the hospital. And me being me, I was like, no, it'll be fine.
You walk it off. Well, that's what I do. I think I've probably broken a toe before and a finger, and it's just like they can't
walk
fucking
it off.
do
Yeah,
anything
what do you
for
do?
it.
That's
So
what I said. I
I'm
was just like if
you just
anything's
wrap it
broken
really tight.
or cracked or whatever, I was just like, I'll just put a fucking popsicle stick there
That's
and
right.
like don't
Splint
move
it
it.
yourself.
Yeah,
Dude,
I'm
We
like,
are the most Midwestern. Like, do you know what
God.
needs to happen to me to go
Totally.
to the fucking
oh, I have to be
hospital?
dying.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
to be dying.
And never. I'm just like, no, you just walk it off. And it's just like, just wrap it. It's fine. You'll be fine.
I know.
It's fine.
I actually I think about that sometimes because like Anthony will go to the doctor for anything. Like if he is sick at all, he is like going to the doctor. Yeah,
Aw,
and
good
I'm
for
like,
him.
I have to be
Bless your heart. And he's from the
dying.
Midwest, too.
Right.
Like I'm the person who, for whatever reason, I would think I'd had a cold and it would go on for like 5 months, and then I would finally go to the
Urgent
doctor,
care.
and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you have like some
Pneumonia.
advanced, like you are on the verge of death because you didn't come into the doctor."
The last time I went to the doctor was when I had those weird fucking bruises all over
Oh,
my
that's
body.
right. That's
Remember?
right. Yes,
and
I
I was
do.
like, I'm sure it's fine. It'll go away.
Clear up.
And it was like for
They're
like
like,
a
"You have
couple of
leukemia."
months. And dude face was like, oh my God, go to the fucking doctor. It's so weird. And I finally went and they're like, oh no, it's just like this weird like cold virus.
Oh, right,
will
right,
give
right.
you, sometimes it's called like the Christmas tree rash or something. And it's like a form of psoriasis or something. But
Oh,
I'm just like,
interesting.
Did
yeah.
they give you anything for it? Or-
No, you can't do
Yeah,
anything
well, you see,
for it.
that's
then
why
it
I
was
don't
a
go to the fucking
waste.
doctor. That's
They're
why
like-
I don't go.
They're like, it's totally common. It's completely fine. There's nothing we can do.
Because the
and you're
one
fine.
time you
rather
do
you
go,
find
they're
that
like,
out-
you can't do anything.
Rather find that out than it be.
I'm also so cheap. I'm like a person who, if I got into like a
totally.
car accident, I'd be like, "Don't call an ambulance. Somebody just take me to the hospital."
Exactly.
I'd be like,
No,
"I don't want to pay the $5,000 for an ambulance
Get
ride."
an Uber. That's what I'm gonna.
Get an Uber.
Have you heard about that? People are
Yeah,
people
to
are
get to-
literally
yeah.
taking Ubers and
Yeah,
lifts to the hospital.
I'll leave my Uber driver a really good tip.
Exactly.
Before,
I was in Canada this week, and of course, like the subject of healthcare comes up, and I'm like, oh, but you won't go. This is the thing that I don't think is understood. Like that, like legitimately, a normal average human being in the United States could go completely bankrupt.
Oh, absolutely.
And bankrupt their entire family.
Yep.
If they get sick, just for
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
fucking
well,
sick.
not to be like a huge bummer, but like, have you heard that it's one of the number one causes of millennials, like their death
Suicide.
is suicide because
Yes.
of illness? It's
Yes.
because they get so sick and they don't want to like be a burden on their families.
Yep.
So they're just like, rather than you having to pay for me to stay alive,
For cancer treatment.
yeah, I'll just take myself out. There's a video that I saw on Instagram. I saved it because I was going to post it to my other podcast Instagram page. But it was this guy basically going through England and talking to people and like quizzing them on how much shit costs in the United States. They're appalled. Like they like talking to them, they're just like, you have to pay for an ambulance, like something they charge you for. It's like
you pay
insane.
for an aspirin. You pay if you fart in a hospital.
Well, yeah, they were talking about like if you have a C-section, there's a like skin to skin contact. To hold your baby, they charge you for that.
you.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like $40
legit charged.
Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up.
Yeah.
Right now.
After you've just gone through something
Obnoxious.
incredibly traumatic.
It's obnoxious.
Fuck
it's
you.
disgusting.
Wow.
Anytime I mean morally, like
Wow.
my biggest problem is anybody that chooses to profit off of anything that is a basic human right. And that to me is at the crux of just the greed, the capitalism, the disgusting nature of anybody that is okay or that can sleep at night saying like, I'm going to make money off of putting a baby on its mother's skin. I need to make my $40. Like,
Oh.
or like massively upcharging on like EpiPens and things
Oh
like that.
my
You remember that guy?
that fucking
Yes.
guy,
That fucking
with
smarmy
the most
asshole.
punchable face
The
of
most.
all time.
True.
Of all time.
Yes.
Didn't he buy the Wu-Tang
He
album
did.
too?
Yes,
What?
he did.
The Wu-Tang like made an album that they were like, this is the only copy of it.
Oh, of
this
course.
is it.
This guy.
We're gonna auction it off, and this guy owns that Wu-Tang album.
And I think that they even came out and they were like, ugh, about it. Like they made
Yeah.
a comment. They were just like, fucking great.
If we'd have known.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who do you think was going to have enough money? Like anybody that has enough money to buy that album is going to be
selling
kind of a
EpiPen for $1
shithead.
billion.
Oh, yeah, like nobody becomes and stays a billionaire ethically.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
There's just no way.
Not-
It's impossible.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
Woof. Woof, woof,
Yikes.
woof.
All right, stepping down off the soapbox.
Okay.
Okay, FMK this week. We got so many good suggestions, and
We
I
did.
forgot to write them down. I do know we got Sex in the City ones.
We did.
It was just so funny, that fucking meme about World War III. And she's like, but what about World War Me?
Which is exactly something that Carrie would write.
I know.
So
God,
goddamn
self-obsessed.
self-centered. They all are, though. They're all pretty self-centered. But I like that one, doing either the three main
What
guys,
was
which
it?
is like Aiden, Big, and Burger,
Yeah.
or
Burger.
the good guys.
Burger was the dude face from,
From
Office Space
Office Space.
that broke up with her with a Post-it note.
Yeah.
I don't remember him.
We also got Charmed, but I've never seen
Never
Charmed.
seen it.
My baby sister was super into it. She loved it.
I know
loved
people stan it
Charmed,
hard.
Oh, yeah.
Buffy, that sort of thing. I got a little too. I was just old enough
Same.
that I missed it. But my sister like stands all that stuff super
Yeah.
hard.
I was literally at the age where I was just old enough to like actually legally go out and drink and go party. So I was like not staying home and watching shit. for
No.
shit.
No,
But
I
the
think
baggy.
I think it had what's her face, Ashley Judd and Shannon.
It wasn't Ashley
Doherty?
Judd, but Shannon
no.
Doherty was in it, and at one point she was replaced by Rose McGowan.
Oh,
that's
that's
right.
right.
And Alyssa Milano was in it.
Alyssa Milano. That's who I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
and then the other one whose name I can never, Phoebe something, whose name I can never remember. The
Okay.
third
We're
sister.
definitely not going to do that one.
Yeah, we'll do
that.
some research and then
And we'll
maybe
come
we'll
back.
revisit
Yeah.
it, because it was actually a patron who suggested that, so I would like to do that.
Yeah. We're
But
totally doing it.
we
but
need to do research on our
Yes.
end before we attack that.
I say we Sex in the City, dude.
Word?
Yeah, Big, Aiden, Burger.
Burger. Beats, Bears, Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, the other one from it that was really good, because Big, Aiden, Burger is kind of easy.
Yeah, they
the
did
other one
Nice
was the
Guys.
Nice Guys from it.
Right,
'Cause
Nice
you
Guys
had
TM.
Steve,
Oh,
Miranda's,
Steve.
And Aiden.
and Aiden.
And the dude face that married Charlotte.
Oh yeah,
love
Harry.
him. I love
Is his name
Harry.
Harry?
Yes.
Harry.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
I love
yes.
Harry.
He's good. And who else? Fucking Smith. Samantha
Mr.
Smith.
Big.
Smith is hot.
He was a good guy.
He was a
too.
nice
He was a
guy.
good guy too.
Shit. Oh, well, then we'll do fuck, marry, kill, and friend. The
Four?
Four of them. Fuck, Mary,
So we
kill,
still
and
have
friend.
to. We still have to friend
kill one
somebody?
of them.
Oh, we still have to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
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 Ooh,
Okay. So hold
this
on.
one's
Let me
hard.
review. Harry, Steve, Burger, and not Burger. Harry, Steve, Aiden, and Smith.
Okay.
Okay. It's hard.
It's
You,
hard.
You've thrown a fourth into the mix, and now my brain
think-
can't do
I
it.
think that I'm gonna kill Steve, and it pains me because I really, really, really love Steve,
Mm-hmm.
but he would get on my goddamn nerves so
His voice is a little annoying.
hard. I really love him, but he would get on my nerves so bad.
Yeah, you know what? I think I see what you mean. I really like Steve. Like when I was
too.
watching the show, I really liked him.
I did too.
But there is something about him. Like for Miranda, it's like, oh, it's good. It's like he brings her down to earth because he owns a bar and he kind of doesn't care and like all of that stuff. But
that drives me
IRL,
nuts. Yeah,
that could be annoying at some point when you're just like, I just want you to take shit seriously for like 2 seconds. So I think I might be with you. I might be with you on Steve. I'm so sorry, Steve.
I think I'm going to marry Harry. Fucking love Harry.
Harry's great.
God, I love Harry.
But you know, Harry's real sweaty. Like they make a lot of jokes about how sweaty he is. And I'm like, I don't know that I would love that forever.
He's got lots of money.
Dude, he does.
He's so good for Charlotte.
He's perfect.
He was perfect for her.
Precious. Oh, I love him.
He is. Yeah.
I love Harry.
I'm gonna friend him. Okay. He seems like somebody I would like.
I'm gonna friend him as well. I think you and I might do the same thing. I'm gonna marry Aiden.
Fucking Steve.
And I'm
Smith.
Fucking
oh
Smith.
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta.
My.
I mean,
Smith.
you have to
God.
fuck Smith.
What is he up to these days? Goodness.
I don't know because he definitely should have been like an action star or something.
Yeah. Like his agent needs to
Drop
have
the
a
ball.
talking too, because I haven't seen him in anything but the Sex and the City.
I feel like I've seen him in something, but nothing huge. Like his career didn't take off.
There's something young about Smith that I don't love that worked for what's her name.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to fuck Aiden and friend Smith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And who are you marrying?
Harry.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna marry Harry.
I like Harry. I'm gonna marry Aiden. I liked Aiden.
I did too, man. And he makes furniture.
He makes furniture.
He smells like sandalwood.
Yeah, he does.
He totally does.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like somebody that will like slow dance with you in the freaking living room to like freaking
I already
Old
hate it.
Soul or whatever. And just like,
fucking-
oh my God.
He's gonna cook for you.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you know, Aiden is the one you come home and he's like in the kitchen
He's
already, like cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I like it. I like that. He owns his own store.
Yeah.
I like it. He makes enough money at his own store to live in New York, which I'm
know.
just like, you're a successful business owner, and I dig
My face
that.
can't stop making this face.
I know.
What,
he's
you don't?
just-
Why don't you like that?
Oh, I hate everything you guys just said. You just
know.
made my decision so much easier.
Oh, no, I love
I'm gonna
that.
fuck him for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I love
But
it.
I
He's
don't
hot.
want any of those things.
Yeah.
He's hot.
I do.
He's like
I do
woodsy
too.
hot.
Yeah, but yeah, I dig that.
I dig a guy that I could go, like, we can go camping.
Yeah. Yeah,
And he'd be
I like
super
that
confident.
he could take me out of the city. If he could see that I was getting stressed out from living in Manhattan, he'd be like, "Hey, babe, do you want to go?
Let's get out of
Get out of town for a
See,
weekend?"
that's not. I love camping, but that's not like if I'm getting stressed out. I don't want to go fucking camping. I want you to take me to fucking Paris. And Harry would do that for me.
Harry
He would.
Yeah.
He
See?
would.
I've made the right decision.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's hard to watch Sex and the City because of how shitty she is to Aiden. Because I'm just like, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
she's so
it's true.
mean to him, and
No,
then
and
she
Mr.
ends
Big
up.
ain't worth her
it.
and Big.
Mr. Big is a dick.
Her and Big deserve each other.
They
honestly.
do, actually. Yeah, they do because he sucks. So
Yeah, it's not Mr. Big. That's a 80s band or whatever. It's just Big. I just
whatever.
Say Mr. Big. Mr. Big.
Mr. Big. Well, and you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Yes.
Your wardrobe wants a refresh and your table wants a refill. You want all the shopping and dining you can dream of in one place. This summer, everything you want is at Pike & Rose. Stop by today or learn more at pikeandrose.com.
Who raised you?
And we're back.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
We've been having conversations
Yes.
on this end.
Yeah.
Shit's getting wild. Okay, do you want to kick us off with stories, Christina?
Yes, let's do it. This one got submitted to us. It says, lighthearted, weird first date story. She says, in 2015, I was the queen of Tinder. I had graduated from college and was waitressing, living in a party house with my 3 ladies, and had multiple dates a week.
You're real living that Sex and the City lifestyle there.
I
Nice.
know.
Way to go.
Literally had the exact same thing, except mine was like a decade or so earlier than that. I was literally waitressing, living in a party house with 3 ladies, multiple dates a week. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm like, I'm there with you. This is amazing. This next part. My MO was to have men send me pizza or other food after matching with them.
Genius.
I know. I'm like, why didn't I ever think to get free pizza?
Oh, man.
It's truly genius.
I stand a queen, man. This is you were the queen of Tinder. I mean, I need to know how that works. She says, surprisingly, it worked really well. And a lot of the time, I never even met them.
Can we just time out really fast? Like, because what I oftentimes wonder, I mean, great that she was able to do it, but also like, who just sends someone pizza? Like, why would you do that?
Dude.
Like the men on the other end of this, I'm just like, why? If someone asked me to send them pizza and I didn't know them, I'd never met them, and we didn't have like concrete plans to hang out, I'd be like, no.
No.
Awesome.
No, thank you.
She goes, looking back, don't do this. Don't give out your address to randos.
Yes.
Smart.
Also true.
Smart. You need a P.O. box for those pizzas.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, I matched with a guy and we had like 50 plus mutual Facebook friends, so I figured he wasn't creepy.
That doesn't mean that. That doesn't mean that at all. No.
Nope.
I verified with my BFF at the time who went to high school with him. Cool. We made plans to meet up for coffee and food, and he came to my house to pick me up. He lived in a nearby town, so obviously I made him drive to me. Girl, your self-confidence.
Yes.
I'm like, I fucking love you.
Yes.
You're getting it. When I opened the door to him knocking, I got a whiff of a pink flag. Not a red flag, just pink.
Yeah.
As in he literally had pink hair and a pink shirt and white shorts.
Oh.
Whatever. Cool.
look.
Let's get coffee. I figured nothing would happen, but he was funny and smart.
It's a look.
So we walked to a local coffee shop and then to a nearby park. It's springtime in the Midwest, and we sit in the park at a picnic table and start chatting. Then one of my best friends happens to walk by. I say hi, and she sits down with us. My friend Kelly is the most friendly person I've ever met. She's oblivious to this being a first date, and both of us are too Midwestern to say anything.
Oh, bless your heart. Bless your heart.
I wouldn't have said anything either. I'd be
know.
like, well, I guess she's on this date with us now.
I guess this is how this works now. So the three of us end up talking for almost 2 hours. There's absolutely no flirting going on, but I'm still having a good time and figured I might have made a new friend here.
Also, okay, who runs into someone
At a park.
and is just like, I'm going to sit here for 2 hours? Like, do you not have anything else to do?
Weren't you on your way somewhere?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, if I'm out and about, I'm on my way somewhere.
Yes.
So
If
she's
I
just
ran
like,
into you in a park, you'd be like, hey, girl, so funny to see you here.
yeah.
See you later.
She
I'm on my
calls,
way to
she
do
calls her
other things.
assistant and she's like, clear my afternoon.
I love it.
It's getting late, and finally Kelly departs for dinner, so we walk back to my house. We go inside, and I figured he'd leave immediately, but he doesn't. So I offer up The Office on Netflix, and we just start watching. I go to the bathroom, and I'm immediately shocked. My pale ass had sat outside for hours with no sunscreen.
Oh, so her skin matches his shirt and hair. Fantastic.
We're all pink
We're
now.
coordinated.
Oh.
She goes, just red everywhere, even my eyelids.
Oh
my
God.
God. Anyways, long story short, he ends up making a move, and I'm shocked. Also, unexpectedly, he has a V big dick.
Oh.
P.S. I also love that people are starting to use the V.
Yeah.
So V big dick. Two really lovely surprises.
But you're burnt. Doesn't that hurt?
I know. I'm just thinking.
I
I'm
feel
like,
how awkward this whole thing is.
Like your body is like
Aye.
on fire.
Yeah, I hate.
But then my phone rings like 15 times, and I'm like, let's pause this. This must be an emergency. I check my phone. It's my work, and I was supposed to be working. I'm like, this is amazing.
What?
If you're waiting tables, I'm like, girl, I'm living that life. She's like, waiting tables, living in the party house, randomly. And she's like, oh, shit, I'm supposed to be at work right now. So she gets ready for work, and he's like, okay, I'll wait for you to get off of work. So I go to work,
Wait,
look
where?
ridiculous.
I don't like, you're going to wait in my house?
No.
I'm
This is
sunburn.
such a fucking like college story where you're like, stranger, yeah, you can sit in my house and like watch The Office.
cool.
You'll be a good surprise for when my roommates get home.
And I'm a strange
Like,
man.
Wow. Wow. Watching our TV.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
I'm sorry.
Cool.
But you know what? If I came home, I've definitely come home to that situation where there were like strangers in my apartment, like from that age. And they would just be like, oh yeah, I'm so-and-so's friend. And I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, totally.
it.
Exactly. It's like it's something that, like, in your 20s, you're not
just
going to get
happens.
murdered.
Yeah.
You're not going to get murdered. We're going to live forever.
Yeah, I had a son by then, so I did not have these stories.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, I was living this life for sure. Well, she gets off work and we pick up where we left off, and it is good. We pass out, and in the morning, I'm like, hey, I have the day off. Do you want to hang out a bit more? Because your girl is thirsty. She got dickmatized.
Yeah, she was like, I felt that shit.
Yeah, that she's willing to come home from a long ass shift burnt as fuck and is still like down. I'm down.
That's
Good.
20s. That's good dicking.
And also,
That's real good dicking.
he's committed, clearly, because
Yeah.
he stayed in your house for however many hours you were working. That's crazy.
Lord.
Yeah, so he ends up noping out of there, and so she says, I made fun of him and offered to drive to him next time. Damn.
That is-
She's like, you don't have to get me pizza. You don't have to drive to it. Like, I'll drive to you.
That's how he can pull off that look.
Pink hair, yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
whole look.
He said, surprisingly, yes. And 5 years later, we just got married.
Oh,
Aw.
shit.
Yeah.
That's a happy
so
ending.
amazing.
That's
I'm
lovely.
just like,
That's lovely.
That's when it works out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? When you're just like, it's awkward in your mid 20s, and dude, I love it.
Me too.
I stand it.
That's funny.
Okay, so this story is from Reddit. Met this girl online, and the way the conversation went, it was always friendly, getting to know you type banter. After a few online conversations, we meet up at a bar by her. The plans for the evening were to have drinks there, then go play Donkey Kong Country at her place.
Donkey Kong.
Again, this is such a young, like,
I love it.
story.
Though. I love it, dude.
Being the oblivious male I am, I genuinely was excited to play some DKC on Super Nintendo.
Amazing.
We meet up at the bar and things go fine. I wasn't really attracted to her at all, but she was nice and we had an all right time at the bar. So we get back to her place and start watching TV. I look around and don't see a Super Nintendo. Thought maybe it was in her bedroom. I don't mention it because I don't want to be rude. She makes us some drinks and we're watching Drunk History when all of a sudden she looks at me with murder in her eyes.
Oh.
Are we going to stop playing games?
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that
I
sentence
thought we
at
were
all.
come and play games.
We were playing Donkey Kong.
I look at her smiling, trying to play it off. Do you mean Donkey Kong Country?
Yes, that's what I mean.
She really didn't appreciate that. She scoffs and then proceeds to chide me about how guys are always wanting to play games and want sex. I told her the only game I was wanting to play was DKC. This is when it got weird. She gets up off the couch calmly, walks into the kitchen, and pulls a butcher knife out.
No.
Run,
What?
run, baby, run.
She just stands in the kitchen,
No.
still with the look of murder in her eyes, and stares me down. She doesn't move at all.
I have
just
chills.
staring at me with the butcher knife at her side. She's
Get
in
the-
the doorway,
No.
staring at him with a butcher knife.
Dude. Oh my God. Run.
I look back for what feels like a few minutes, and then I jump up and dash for the front door. I didn't even bother closing the door behind me.
No, fuck it.
I hear the door slam hard, and she's shouting at the top of her lungs, "Fucking asshole, playing games, fuck you."
No.
So,
no.
a night of what I was hoping to be relaxing, friendly conversation and Donkey Kong Country turned into my maybe I could have been murdered dating story.
Absolutely, you could have. That is somebody that literally some switch. That's
She
some
needs on a-
Kathy Bates shit
Well,
right
She
I
needs
feel
to be on
there.
a watch list.
She lured you over there. You know what I mean? Because, like, what a weird thing to be like,
my
do you
God, I
want
have
to come
chills.
play a video game with me? And then you get there and she doesn't even, like, she doesn't have it. She doesn't bring it out or anything. So it's like she kind of
my
lured you
God.
to her house.
Oh, I hate it.
And then this situation happened. I'm like, oh my God.
Holy.
And God bless him. I read that story and I was just like, oh, sweetheart. It's such a early 20s, late teens guy move to be like, yeah, let's go play video games. This sounds great.
yeah.
And then to be the whole time like, I don't understand what you're upset about.
Oh,
no.
man.
honey.
Oh no.
I am so shooketh right now. I don't even know if I can read my story.
I think that there are a few things
Wow.
scarier than someone standing in a doorway. I just picture it's so cinematic, right? Like the lights shining behind them. You just get the silhouette. Like a very Kathy Bates kind of misery.
That's exactly
move.
how I pictured it as well. Her standing in the doorway, fucking knife at her side.
Not
like,
saying anything
I see
for
the
a few
reenactment.
minutes.
I see the reenactment on Snapped.
Oh, yeah.
I see this.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Not saying
no.
anything. The silence is what gets me too. Like, how long can you just stare at somebody who's like looking back at you like that? Oof.
I don't know that I could turn to run. I think I would run backwards.
Yeah,
out
you're
that
like,
door.
I'm gonna just moonwalk out of here.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so our story came to us from somebody who's written into us before.
Nice.
This is from the guy who sent in the story, My Date with an Irish Girl.
Oh my
with
god,
the
that was
accent, the
so
fake accent.
funny.
Amazing.
Funny.
She's like, no, actually, your name is. And he's like, just ran away.
Right, he had like 16 aliases. Yeah.
Honestly, like this guy has the biggest dick energy. Like this story is the accidental sex worker.
Well, have you ever wanted to go to a bar and just pretend to be somebody else?
Oh, yeah.
I've definitely wanted to do that, where I'm just like, I want to go somewhere. I'm going to make up I want to see how I would do as a double agent. I'm going to go in there and completely pretend to be someone new with a different name.
Dude, let's
from a
do
different
it.
place.
I know.
Let's do it.
Jennifer Garner, that shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So I was 20 years old. My friend Bart and I had just finished playing a water polo game for the Chicago Park District. I was going to spend Thursday night at his house and we would both go to the beach in the morning. His rotary phone rang and he was stunned. He said, "It's for you."
Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
So much.
You have a friend named Bart. Which I've never met a Bart in my life.
I mean,
How do you
This is like 70s,
play
late 70s,
how do you play
early 80s.
water polo? Because isn't polo with horses? Do they put the horses in
there's
water? I'm genuinely asking,
No.
like, how do you play it? Because it's like with sticks and a
Oh my God.
ball.
Keegan and I both are doing the same thing, which is the hand on our close to our bottom of our throat. Bless your heart move.
I don't know. Like, is it a shallow pool of water? There's just
No, I don't think horses are involved in
No,
water
there
polo.
are no horses. It is, and they wear the caps. You've literally
I've
never
literally never seen water polo.
Yeah.
I did not. I know polo.
Yeah.
By Ralph Lauren.
Yes,
But-
exactly. I've seen the little
I've seen
embroidery.
that thing, but I'm like, I did not know that you could play it in water.
Yeah, yeah. There are no horses.
Well,
Imagine
then
those
I don't want to see it.
Poor fucking horses. I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like,
Just splash.
they have to be specially trained for that from the time they're
the
like
largest
babies.
pool in the planet.
No.
Also, who's cleaning that at the end, you know?
So this is taking place in the 70s?
It's like late 70s. Or
Okay,
early
then
80s.
that makes more sense because I was just like, are we talking a man named Bart in
Yes.
2020
No.
who
With a rotary
with
phone.
a rotary phone?
Bless you. I hope that Bart's still with us in 2020, but I mean,
Yes, but yeah. I was just like, you and your buddy Bart did some water polo, came home, and his rotary phone rang. I'm like, I'm concerned.
Yes.
okay. So he says, so his rotary phone rings and he's like, "It's for you." Super perplexed because it's not his fucking house.
Yeah.
It's somebody else's house phone is ringing. It took the
Creepy.
receiver and I said, "Hello." A girl's voice said, "Is this John Morgan?" I answered, "Yes, it is." She asked, "The same John Morgan that's a lifeguard at Oak Street Beach?" I'm like, "What are you, a goddamn detective here?" Like,
God,
Jesus.
exactly. Mind your bees.
Yes, I am, I replied. She introduced herself and said that she was friends with and named two girls I had been intimate with recently.
Oh,
She
hey.
said her parents were at a fundraiser at the Field Museum and would not be home until 1 a.m. and
Good
wanted
for
to
you.
know if I would like to come over to keep her company.
Okay. Wow. That is some big dick energy. Like,
That is-
they had a group of girlfriends getting
Yes.
together and they were like, "Did you fuck John?" They're like, "Mm-hmm. Did you fuck John?" And she's like, "Uh-huh." And then the other friend's like, "I didn't. I'm feeling left out."
I'm going to try to fuck
I
John,
think I'm
too.
going to try and fuck
I
John.
mean, I heard he's great.
I heard he's great.
If I want to say
Yelp
this,
reviews
It's been
are
referred.
4 stars.
in the 80s, if this was a movie, if somebody was playing John Morgan in a movie, I feel like it's oh shit, what's his name? Pretty Woman. Richard Gere.
Oh, Richard Gere.
Yes. You're
Okay.
being played by Richard Gere.
All right.
He's playing water polo.
Yes.
Yeah.
He comes home.
Yeah.
He's a
21-year-old
lifeguard.
Richard Gere.
Yeah.
He's like, he's got that big dick energy. Everybody wants to fuck him. Now, in the 90s, this would be played by
Dude face that was 007.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, no. See, I was thinking, what was the British Playboy, one of your movie that you like?
British Playboy.
What's his name? Hugh Grant.
Oh.
I was thinking Hugh Grant.
But you know what? I think it has to be, maybe it's like a fuse of Hugh Grant and Pierce Morgan, or Pierce.
Oh, definitely
Wow.
not Pierce Morgan.
God. He's the
Pierce
worst.
Brosnan, because I think Pierce Brosnan looks better with his shirt off, and this guy is a lifeguard.
Yeah.
Who among us has not had a crush on at least one lifeguard?
Yeah. at
Everyone
least one.
has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, sidebar, Pierce Morgan can still get it. I watched the Golden Globes, and I'm like,
Girl, Pierce
You mean
Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan?
What am I saying?
No, Pierce Morgan.
Pierce Morgan's the worst person of all
He's the
time. I'm so
worst.
sorry.
The
No, Pierce
fucking
Brosnan.
worst.
Why do I keep doing that? But Pierce Brosnan, did you see the Golden Globes?
Yes, I did.
Love him.
Still
Love
hot.
him. Love him.
Still really hot.
Yeah.
Even with that weird ass
Looked
face.
a little like the KFC Colonel,
Yeah.
but in a hot way, but make it fashion.
Like, is he playing another Perot?
Like,
Both-
oh, he does
Yeah.
kind of look like
no,
that.
I mean, like, because that's how he looked when he did the character
Yeah.
in Orient Express.
Yeah, he does. He does.
So I
look
wondered
literally
if
like
that's why I wondered if that's how his facial hair was that way.
I don't know.
Gosh. Anyway.
Anyway.
Okay. All right.
We've got you sufficiently cast.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So, would like to come over, keep her company, and I would have to leave by midnight. I asked her where she lived and looked at my watch and said, I can be there by 10, but I need you to reimburse me for gas and parking.
Oh my god!
She said,
Damn.
what? I explained that I did not get paid until tomorrow, had no money, and only had enough gas to get to the beach in the morning. I did not have enough gas to drive to her house, back to my friend's house, and then to the beach in the morning. I said $10 or $15 should cover gas and parking.
I love it. Oh
She
my
replied,
god!
I only have a 50. I said, you live in Lake Point Tower. You can get another 50. Do you want me to come or not?
Oh
With
my god!
attitude, she said, fine.
And I love it that he's on like a 2-hour window too. So
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna get there, fuck you, and leave. Like
Yeah.
this is how much time I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get there by 10, but I'm gonna need gas money.
I can make your dick appointment,
Amazing.
but
Dude,
This
we
is a
have
solid dick appointment.
solid big dick energy all around because my chick is like, you can get me a pizza.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. She is.
Totally.
She's the lady version.
Yeah, exactly.
love
She's
this.
like, send me a pizza though.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
I love
And then he had a real big dick. So,
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, dude. You must have very good peen
Yeah.
happening over
to
here.
have that kind of because if
kinda
a man
a buzz,
if a man
like a
said
buzz.
Call
that to
somebody
me,
else. Call your friend's house.
he's been referred.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
There's a
There's a
referral
referral.
program.
Uh-huh.
Imagine I'm at your house, Keegan, and your rotary phone rings, and somebody's asking for a dick appointment. That's wild.
Yeah, how did she even know you were there? And then did she get out the phone book to find your
like,
friend to call you?
Bart. Calling
Yeah, she's like,
several
there's
Barts.
only so many Barts.
He's got a friend named Bart. You should be with him tonight.
And dude, that's in the 70s. Like, you can't fucking Google that.
No, she
Would
got
she,
out
like,
her fucking phone book.
she Dewey Decimaled that.
Microfiche.
Microfiche. Exactly. Okay.
That's how good that dick was.
I know. And
That
can you
is-
imagine if she'd never seen him? Her friends are having to pull out like Polaroid pictures. They're like,
the Sharpie on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's like John Morgan.
this is what he looks like at the pool. Like, no.
When I get to her condo, she answers the door with a $50 bill in her hand, like I'm delivering a pizza. I pluck it out of her hand and put it in my wallet, and then I take a look at her. She's very pretty, shoulder-length brown hair, brown eyes, beautiful complexion, and full kissable lips. But I also noticed that she has a little bit of a baby fat on her, which makes me doubt her age. I said, I'm going to need to see some ID.
But I'm keeping this 50 because I did drive all the way over here for my
Exactly.
time.
For my
For my
time.
time.
For my
She says, what? You look awfully young. I said, I have to be sure you're the age of consent. I turned 17 in November, she protested. Good. That means you'll have a driver's license. Hand it over.
Oh my God, I love him.
She stormed off to get her ID, and I heard her say to herself, this better be worth it. Oh my God. I love this story so much. It's so funny. It turns out she was 17, age of consent. So I do my due diligence. The alarm goes off at midnight. I get dressed and leave. I did not have to pay for parking, and it only cost $10 to fill my tank and the 68 Pontiac Bonneville in those days.
So you made $40.
I look at the $40 and change, and I thought, did I just get paid $20 an hour for having sex?
Yes, you did.
I was making about $5.60 an hour as a lifeguard in 78. So it's like, this is the year I was born.
Oh my God.
Are you my dad?
Dude.
Dude.
I mean,
I was adopted.
Could have been.
This gigolo's been getting around from what I see.
I love it.
So this was like Teamster wages. Later that summer, I met with two girls. I met the two girls she had used as a reference. They had no idea who I was talking about and swore they did not know anybody that lived in Lake Point Tower. Since she knew,
she overheard their conversation at a fucking Pizza Hut. She's like, I'm sorry, who? John Morgan? Okay, she's writing it down.
Yeah.
He's at Bart's house, writing it down.
Since she knew the names of the two girls, I'm speculating she overheard them talking about me and tracked me down. It's also possible the two girls were lying and knew exactly who she was.
Which, God, the fucking
I'll never know.
70s. How risky is that move? As
Oh
a
my
17-year-old,
God.
how fucking risky is it to just call some dude that you heard tell of and invite them over to your house?
Mr. Morgan.
Wow,
Big,
man.
Big M, Little Organ. Oh, no, wait. Big Organ. From
Yeah.
what I can...
Big.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or at least knows how to work it. I mean,
Oh
we
my
can't
God.
speculate on size, but
Put my
Hey.
thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
yeah.
You know what? Get your pizza. Get your pizza.
Get your pizza, girl.
Life is short.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Sounds like he could have started a business.
Exactly.
He's like, here's my card.
You're-
Let other
No
people know
shit.
about me. Pass along the word.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, Teamster rates, you know?
Jesus.
Oh my God. The fucking 70s, dude. Wild. Speaking of, are you guys ready for my murder notes?
I will
Yes.
never understand how you do one page of notes.
No.
I was doing mine. I've got like 7 pages of typed notes.
And if somebody
book's
if
almost
somebody
full.
were reading it, they would be like, "Wait, what?" Because it's just like random words that I can look at and be like, "Oh yeah, that's,
This thing
that
happened."
triggered."
Yeah.
Like
And meanwhile, I'm writing a full-on essay.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm like,
me.
paragraphs.
She's like bullet points. We're like full written narratives.
Okay.
Okay.
So my crazy in love this week, I happened to catch while I was doing Snapped with an app. And if you're playing it on YouTube, like sometimes it will go out of Snapped and go onto like different things. So I was watching Snapped and then another thing came on. It was like People Investigates.
Oh, I love People Investigate.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. So
I have-
you guys might have seen this one.
I have
Might
on more than one occasion submitted to be in a People's Investigates because it comes up all the time for me to like submit to be
audition.
to
Yeah.
audition for
Yeah.
it. And I'm like,
I was like, what, your story? You're gonna
no, I would die to be like in a reenactment.
In a murder reenactment?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
just once in my life, I'm
Crime.
just like, I know it won't be good. I know the pay won't be good, but I just want it.
Exactly.
Worth it.
For me, for my
Bucket
personal
list.
resume.
And but I got most of my information like really from an article in Texas Monthly. But this is the story of the murder of Adrienne Jones.
Okay.
So see if this rings a bell. Okay. Adrienne Jones was in Mansfield, Texas. 16, beautiful. She ran cross country. Very, very popular.
My ex's family was from Mansfield, so I used to go there for like holidays and shit.
Well, it caught my ear first, I think, because I was kind of half asleep and they were like Mansfield. And then I thought Mansfield, Ohio.
Same.
And I was like, oh, I got to do, but it was Mansfield, Texas. So I'm like, there's a Mansfield, I think probably.
It's like a Springfield.
Every
yeah.
Right.
state.
Every state has a
Also,
Mansfield.
Mansfield. Is that where it comes
How
from?
dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
It's Thaysfield. It's 2020. Thaysfield. So, anyways, she's living her life. She's blonde, she's beautiful, and she's also like really nice. And of course, has the People's Investigates eulogy, where like literally nothing,
There's soft
nothing was-
piano music playing underneath it.
Yeah. So anyways, her parents had moved out there, and they were fairly like strict with them. Not like overly so, but like it was in the mid 90s. So things were starting to turn then. This was a small town, and it's outside of the Dallas Fort Worth area. It's not that far from there. So like the big city was starting to creep into this small town. And so her parents were strict with her, just trying to keep her away from drugs, sex, alcohol, that sort of thing. I feel like the 90s, that kind of shit was just starting to creep into families like in a real way. Where in like the 70s or the 80s, they're like, yeah, fucking do whatever. And you could drive off for a weekend, but bye, mom, when you're like 13.
See you when I see you.
See you when I see you. But yeah, I mean, the 90s, people actually like cared where their kids were. And so she had a curfew. She even had, this is fucking hilarious to me, a phone curfew. So that's when people still like before cell phones.
I had phone curfew.
Phone curfew was 10
where it's just
p.m.
like, at 10 o'clock, you have to stop talking to your friend on the phone.
Yep.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yep.
You don't need to talk about like
that.
Jason
Okay.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like
We get it.
your crush on on Jason from math class.
I'm on the phone, mom. Someone like picks up. I'm on the phone, mom. God, stop
And
embarrassing
mid
me.
90s, it was probably still like a corded phone.
Yeah,
that you
that
got the
you
phone
stretch.
underneath the like
Yep.
door,
No call waiting.
underneath the crack in the door.
No call waiting in our house. So my parents just, I'm sure, missed every.
They're just missing every business phone call.
Yeah.
And if you have the internet at this point, it's like nobody can get on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
great.
No,
Because the phone and internet lines are connected.
Yep. And the other thing too, I remember this big, huge fucking fight. Well, I got in huge trouble because, I was a camp counselor in Kentucky, so I would call my friends from there, which is long distance, several hours, and this is, dude, the phone bill one month, my mom's head motherfucking exploded.
Yeah, because they don't know until it like comes in the
Until
mail.
it comes in the mail,
Yeah.
and it's like womp womp. Yeah, and I'm like, whatever.
I don't care. And now you're an adult and
I
you're
want
like,
to talk to my friends.
yike.
And and now I think about like what would happen if I got a like, accidental bill of like $400 when you're used to it being like 40. I'd be
Right.
like,
Yeah,
You got three
I
kids
didn't
to feed?
budget for this shit. You guys are all
That's
eating
right.
bread and butter for the next week.
Exactly.
That's what's
If
happening
that.
now. Yeah,
And only if you go steal it from the grocery
it's all
Yeah.
potatoes. It's all potatoes.
so many potatoes. So, anyways, on December 3rd, 1995, she gets special permission from her parents to talk beyond her phone curfew because her boyfriend, Tracy Smith, had been out of town and was coming back in town. They hadn't talked in a few days. And she's like, please, can I? And so they let her. And at 10:30, he calls and she's on the phone. And-
Reasonable parents,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, that's fine. You can talk for
This
it, but
one time.
not too late. And so they're catching up and that sort of thing. And Linda's like doing stuff. Linda's her mom, like around her room, kind of trying to be like a busybody. She didn't say that, but I was kind of like, you were
Yeah.
being a little
My
snippy
mom
pants.
used to do that shit
Or
when I'd
she's
be like
oh,
chatting.
I'm just folding laundry or whatever. I'm like,
Oh,
remember-
my mom
Dropping.
didn't fold my laundry, so I would be suspicious of that. I'd be like,
I remember
what are you doing?
whenever and granted, like, listen, I get it because I would be on AIM talking to strangers that I should not have been talking to. And my mom, I remember feeling suspicious because I was just like, you're coming in and out of this room a whole lot more
Right.
than you really need to.
exactly. they hover.
And I'm like,
trying to be like not obvious about it, but
yeah, she's like low key side eyeing my computer screen, trying to see what I'm typing. She's
Right.
like, who you talking to?
well, this mom because like she hears her tell her boyfriend, "Oh, hang on, there's someone on the other line." Picks up and then her voice changes and then she switches back. So the mom like asks her like cuz they only talk for like 25 minutes or so. And so at the end of the phone call, Linda's like, "Who were you talking to? Who called?"
She's like, my boyfriend.
And she's like,
Who else?
she's like, "Oh, that was just David. He was really depressed about something." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And so the next morning, Linda wakes up. She's like getting ready. She hears the alarm go off in her daughter's room. She's like, "That's really weird." Like, so she goes up there and the bed is like not slept in, but she would sometimes make her bed, so it wasn't too suspicious. She's like, maybe she went on an early morning run, because that's what she did, doing cross country and stuff. She would go on morning runs a lot. So she like kind of waited, and she had like a really weird feeling, and finally like she calls the cops and reports her missing because she doesn't come back from the run, and her tennis shoes were there. So she's like, okay, no, she didn't do this. Right. Calling and reporting her missing. Now, the other thing too is she had gotten caught for sneaking out like once before, but she's like 16. I'm like,
yeah,
and we all snuck out of
right.
the house, but she wasn't a bad kid. She wasn't like, you know, she was just 16. So sometimes she did
16-year-old things.
16-year-old shit. So she wasn't like immediately like, something is terribly wrong. She's just like, this isn't right. I'm calling the cops.
Well, here's the thing about that. I was just having this conversation with my friend Madigan about this, because we were talking about another case where they had to have a law passed because this girl went missing when she was like 16 or 17, and the cops didn't take it seriously. Of course, they were like, oh, she, you know, probably ran off or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if she did, she's a minor,
and I
so,
don't give her permission,
right? And
to be
I'm
out.
her parent,
Yeah.
And so if I'm telling you go find her, yep. Like, because even if she did this because she wanted to, she doesn't get to make those decisions.
That's
So
awesome.
you need to go fucking
exactly
find her.
Right.
Like,
yeah. So the cops like come over, like they file the report and all that kind of thing. Simultaneously, the cops are called to a field that is a lot closer to Dallas-Fort Worth, and a farmer had been going through and found a body of a blonde girl who's still in her PJs, and her head was bashed in.
Holy shit.
And so it's later that day that A plus B equals C, that it's put together, and the community is just fucking shocked.
Yeah.
Like, who is murdering this like popular young girl? And the police are like, well, this is weird. She doesn't do like really risky behavior.
Right.
And it doesn't look like she struggled, so it had to be someone she knows.
Right.
Her high school had 2,500 students in it. She was a very popular, gregarious person. So they start breaking it down. They go into the high school and they're like, all right, who's her friend
time
group?
to pull all the Davids.
What's going on?
Of which there were probably like 200 Davids. But
Exactly.
David, time to pull them
So
all.
that's what Linda does. Linda calls her cross country coach and she's like, who's David? And he's like, there's only one David on the cross country team. It's David Graham. And she's like, great. Fucking cops put him on the list. Cops talk to Tracy Smith. Cops talk to all of her friends, get all the rumors, all the gossip, all the crazy stuff, like what's really going on.
Yeah.
So here is what they get. The first person they talk to is Tracy Smith, because that's her boyfriend and who, you know, she was talking to the night before she went missing. So he is, you know, somebody that she met at her job, which I'm like, dude, how much energy did we have when we were 16? Because she fucking went to school. She had extracurricular activities and worked a part-time job. Yeah. And like studied, was a straight A student and like all this stuff. I'm like, that sounds exhausting.
Meanwhile, if I run more than 4 errands in a day, I'm like, I need to sleep. I need to go to bed at 9 p.m. I'm tired. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, and her parents are actually really suspicious of him. Because, and this is such a parent thing, he didn't contact them when she went missing or whatever, and didn't seem like concerned. So the parents
he's
are
a
like,
16-year-old boy. They're dumb emotionally.
And did he know that she was missing?
Yeah, exactly. So, but they give him a polygraph test. He passes with flying colors. But what he does say is like, he talks about the phone call and he's like, oh, she got another phone call when I was on the phone with her. And she said that it was Brian. Brian called her. And so they're like, Brian who? And it's Brian McMillan, who all of her friends are like, you need to check this guy out. He has been literally following her nonstop.
Oh, shit.
And when he
why would she lie to her mom about who it was? Like,
exactly.
That's suspicious.
Yeah. So he's been following her. She's been trying to, avoid him, that sort of thing. So
unless her mom knew about this Brian kid and that he was following her and didn't want to make her mom like nervous or something.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
And so the other suspects that they get, all of her friends are like, oh my gosh, you need to look at this chick, Tara. Tara was at the wrong side of the tracks. She had a reputation. She beat a girl at school with a baseball bat and then got pissed off and shot her boyfriend.
What?
Which I'm like,
Yeah, I remember this story now.
wild. Wild.
I remember this story.
Wild. And Adrienne had testified against her, and Tara's like, I'm going to get you.
Honey, cool it.
So we've got a long suspect list, okay? So we've got David Graham, we've got Brian McMillan, and we've got fucking wild-ass Tara, who's just like gives no fucks. So they're like, okay, we've whittled it down. This is manageable. So they first go to David because that's who she told the mom that she's talking to. And they're like, hey, did you call Adrienne last night? And he goes, no, why would I? And he was like a senior. She was a sophomore.
Oh.
They weren't friends. They didn't run in the same circle. None of her friends. She didn't have any of his information, and they had her like little black book, like her phone book and stuff. And so they're like, oh, okay, well, she just lied to her mom then, I guess, about it. Because this guy
said David.
This guy was like, in ROTC, he was a straight A student, just like really, really, really cool. And they're just like, yeah, no, there's no way it's him. They talk to Tara, and they like give her a polygraph. Clear. Then they talk to Brian McMillan.
Stalker extraordinaire.
They're like, so like, where were you last night? And he's like, I don't remember.
What?
Okay.
If you asked me where I was 6 months ago, I'd be like, I don't remember. You asked me what I did last night.
I'm going to remember.
Well, he was on a lot of medication for being clinically depressed, and then he started drinking last night. And they were like, why were you drinking? And they're like, he goes, all my friends have gotten girlfriends and I haven't. So I was really depressed. And they're like, okay, so what'd you do last night? He's like, I don't know. And they're like, did you hang out with Adrienne? He's like, maybe I could have. And so they're like, okay. So they fucking arrest him.
Yeah, like we need to go and like collect evidence at your house.
That's
because
what
if you can't tell us what happened, maybe we can find something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they find nothing. Like, and his dad was like, no, he didn't leave the house last night. Like, he's just kind of a weird dude. So, I mean, but rumors are flying around at school. They're like, yeah, Brian totally did. And I'm like,
and you can't really trust a parent either.
Yeah,
like you can have a dad say that. How many times have we had stories where like parents are like, not my kid, or like cover up for their kid?
Imagine if you were a senior in high school and you're already awkward and kind of unpopular, and then everybody thinks that you're guilty of murder.
She's a popular girl.
Yeah. My heart goes out to him because they gave him a polygraph. He passed it with flying colors, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I guess it's not you."
How did he pass something he can't even remember? Like that's wild to me.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, "Well, it's not you. We didn't find any evidence," and so literally, like the trail goes cold. They have no leads. There's no forensic evidence for them to go off of.
Wait, so they can't even pull the phone records to find out who she legitimately was talking to?
I know, right? That's what I thought too, but it goes cold for months. That literally came into my head. I'm like, check who fucking called, unless they did like some kind of star 67 or something.
Right. I mean, and she lied to her mom and said it was David, but maybe she was telling the truth that Brian called her. Like, he could have called her. It doesn't mean he killed her.
Right. Yeah. So,
or maybe she lied to her boyfriend about who called.
Yeah.
Could have as well. Yeah.
16-year-olds are liars.
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah.
Well, and two, what plays better to each story, right?
Exactly.
Do you want your boyfriend to think that some guy named David called, or do you want him to think that some guy named Brian, who you probably already told is some weirdo stalker kid, called you?
So literally life goes on for everybody. Everybody starts graduating and going other places, and like the trail has just gone cold. We'll circle back to David Graham. Another reason why they didn't think that it could be him at all was because he had been in a super committed relationship with a girl named Diane Zamora. They were just like power couple, type A to the extreme.
I thought about this story literally like earlier today. This was one of the first Snapped episodes I ever watched. I remember this one because I remember it being Mansfield, Texas.
Right.
Yeah. Oh.
So basically, they had actually known each other since 1991. They were both in Civil Air Patrol.
Yes.
Because she wanted to be an astronaut and he wanted to be in the Air Force. They were like super straight A's, always studying, very like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, just the best. They finally started dating in August of 95. So remember, this thing happened in December of 95. So they finally start dating in August 95. And Diane was very conservative, very Christian. She's like, she had one boyfriend before that she dumped because he was trying to pressure her to have sex. And she's like, no, I want to wait until marriage. So she ends up starting to date David in August of 95. They get engaged to be married in September of 95.
She's like, I need to have dick.
1 month of dating. They are
That sounds about right, though. Like for that kind of community, like
especially when you're saving
small
yourself.
town.
I literally want to crawl out of my fucking skin. The idea of being engaged. for 1
Mansfield
month.
is very similar in feel. It's a little bit bigger, but it's very similar in feel to the school that I went to high school in Willard, the town that I went to high school in. Willard, Missouri. They're very like similar. That type of thing happened
All the time.
all the time, and especially with people who were like in ROTC who had plans to go into the military and shit
Right.
like that. I can't tell you the number of promise rings that were like given.
Gave her a fucking
Yeah,
promise
of course. Yeah, but that's kind of, it was very, very common. I had lots of friends get promise rings in high school, like tons, you know, so.
So, of course, she's like, well, we're going to get married anyways, so I'm going to give it up. So she loses her virginity to him, and
Sexual repression will have you doing things you never thought.
they also start like doing these like little inside jokes with each other. Like they'll tell each other greenish brown female sheep, which greenish brown is Olive, female sheep is you. So it was like their
I
way
love
of
you.
saying I love
Ew.
you. And I'm like,
Oh, I'm sickened.
I literally thought of you. I wrote it down only to have you make the face that you're making right now.
I fucking hate that.
That's so gross.
much.
It's honestly, it's also so nerdy that I'm just like, oh.
They were like nerdy obsessed with each other too. And like their parents were just like concerned. They were always like, whenever they were in the same room, they were that couple that were like always touching. Like he would have his arm around her. They were just joined together, which is the
oh my
worst.
God. I'm just having I was in ROTC in high school. I'm just having like major fucking flashbacks.
Exactly.
Ugh.
So, okay, they're engaged. November of 1995, there's a big cross-country meet that they have to get on a bus and go downtown. Now, Diane goes to a different school. That's my girlfriend. You don't know her.
You don't know her.
She's from Canada.
She's from Canada. But yeah, so, I mean, he's on the cross-country, and Adrienne is in cross-country, and they go out of town on the big bus together. Now, like, literally none of her friends, or nobody knew that they're friends. No one can corroborate. Wow,
Corroborate?
that's hard. What has happened after this meet. But according to David, after this meet, they get back on the bus and she asks him for a ride home. They had like been talking on the bus and he's like, yeah, sure. So she's giving him directions and he starts to pick up. She's not giving me directions to her home. She directs him to park in the elementary school and they end up fucking in his car. And so
Forward.
V forward, which I was like, okay. She was like, I mean, I don't think he's cute or whatever, but
I have questions about this story already.
But
yeah.
also, yeah, the taste of teenage girls, the people that I had crushes on in high school, I'm like, oh.
true.
Yeah. So anyways, he starts to feel like really conflicted about it and tells like two of his friends and they're like, he's like, don't tell Diane. I want to be the first person. I need to tell her. So he tells Diane. Diane freaks out, like literally like falls apart big time, blows up this whole thing. And he's like, what can I do?
To be fair, I would have freaked out.
Of course.
I would have freaked out.
I mean,
and you also, I know like the religious pressures of like you were saving yourself for marriage and you gave it up because this is going to be your forever person.
And he fucked
and
somebody
he
else.
fucked someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have lost it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, well, what can I do to like fix this? And this was like a moment of weakness, like blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you need to kill her.
I wouldn't have freaked out that much, for the record.
Yeah. I'd have been upset.
The only way, because literally, like, you put her above me, you put her above us, and the only way that you can fix this is to kill her.
Jesus wants you to kill her, so if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, wow, wow.
Yeah. So then on December 3rd, 1995, they call her, or David calls and convinces Adrienne to like come out. And she gets into his Mazda Protege and they drive around and they park at this field. I know, Mazda Protege. They park in this field and Diane has been hiding in the back of the hatchback and takes a giant barbell and bashes her in the head. But it doesn't kill Adrienne. She's able to like crawl out and stumble in the field. David takes a gun out of his car and shoots her twice in the face.
Holy shit.
And as soon as that's happened, they're like, they both tell each other, they're like, I love you, I love you. And Diane goes, we shouldn't have done that.
Oh, now?
Yeah. So this changes.
What would Jesus do?
This changes their relationship somewhat. So they go, their relationship, which was toxic before and very obsessive and very like 16, or 17. They were like 17 at the time. Now it takes on, now they're both carrying a murder together, So it's just like out of fucking control. He gets accepted to Air Force Academy, very prestigious in Colorado. She gets accepted to the Naval Academy in Baltimore, Maryland. So now they're trying to do their crazy shit long distance, still fighting jealousy and insecurity and carrying a murder. So it was only a matter of time before shit was going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
And it was Diane who started it, because she started getting convinced that David was fucking around on her again, because that's what happens. Like it's fucking crazy. So she's confiding in her superior officer, this guy named Jay. They started like having a friendship. And so like at one point he's like, why are you letting this guy like treat you like this? Like, has he ever cheated on you before or something? She's like, yeah, and then confesses the whole story to him. And he's like, well, and he says later, he's like,
an overreaction.
I didn't think that it was real because it was so like crazy. He's like, I didn't believe it. But then Diane is talking to like two other girl, they call them plebes, like their freshman class or whatever, talking to them. They're like, oh my God, like David would literally do anything for you. And she's like, yeah, I know. And she's like, he's killed for me before. And so tells these two girls, like, humble brag,
honey,
stop
talking.
Yeah. And so those two girls are not like Jay. They're like, this is weird. We're gonna go talk to the chaplain. The chaplain is like, yeah, this is right. And they go to the police.
Yeah, fucking Jay, come on.
I think Jay wanted to get in her pants, if I'm honest, because she was kind of pretty. And I'm like, I think Jay was like,
did she have like
kind of crazy
Soup's thin eyebrows? I remember very manically thin eyebrows.
Yes.
Okay.
And she had crazy eyes.
Yeah, but she was kind of pretty, but I was just like, those eyebrows, that indicates a level of like
murder,
very meticulous plucking.
I mean, it was the mid 90s, but still, I'm like,
needs to go.
It's going to take a while for that to grow back.
Yeah. So the police get involved and they confront her about the story, and she's like, no, I made it up because I wanted to seem tough in my first year. They're like, okay, well, we're going to look into this. And the Navy is like, while they look into whether you murdered somebody, you're not going to be here. So we're going to send you home. So she flies from Baltimore to like somewhere like Austin or something. And then instead of going home, she goes to Colorado Springs. Oh, it's Baltimore to Atlanta, and Atlanta was supposed to take her home. So she goes from Atlanta to Colorado Springs to see David. And
she's like, David, I might have accidentally said a few things.
Confessed to the murder that I'm saying that you did.
So just kind of want to give you a heads up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So police are like on their tail, and they like pick David up and they interrogate him, and he finally breaks down. He's like denying. He's like, she's crazy. She's making it up, blah, blah. And then finally he breaks down. He's like, just give me a typewriter or whatever. And I'm like, what was in the 90s? A word processor or something. He's like, I'll write it out. And he wrote a 4-page confession.
Wow.
And
with a typewriter, he's like, I'm sorry, can I get some whiteout?
Oh my God, I've actually used a typewriter.
That's what we had growing up in our house. When I was really little, my mom used to write her like
fancy typewriter.
When my mom
had like a delete thing, and it would like white it out itself, so it had like a whiteout thread.
Yeah, I feel like my mom had that too.
It
didn't look like an old typewriter. Yeah. It looked like a 90s typewriter. It was like beige.
Wow. Yeah. Or something. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it looked like a sewing machine.
Yeah, I think it was actually made by Brother. That's why I said that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. So like the jig's up, you know, they finally have answers. They go, and of course they turn on each other immediately. Like David's confession is like, is actually, I think, the one that I tend to lean on after reading it. Mm-hmm. You know, he's just like, he takes responsibility for it. He's like, we shouldn't have done it. I was so crazy about her at the time, and
I was willing to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of blames her for setting it in motion. But like for Diane, she's just like, you know, it was all David. David hit her and shot her or whatever. Like, I was mad, but he's the one that actually did it, you know, so trying to get out of it. They both got prison. They both got life. They are both married to other people now.
From behind bars?
From behind bars.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool,
yeah.
Cool,
so
cool.
Seems like they can still spread their crazy onto other people.
Oh, goody.
But yeah, that is the crazy in love story of Adrienne Jones.
I think about that one a lot because I remember watching it and I remember feeling like those two teenagers were people I knew. Yeah. Like, I definitely knew, I knew that kind of high school. I knew that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
You know, all of those elements, the like, you know, religious elements and the first boyfriend in small town and like jealousy. And
I remember when the first time I was cheated on. Do you know what I mean? Do you know that feeling, like that really visceral feeling? And when you're so young, like things hit so much harder. Like I feel like now I'm just like, shit is shitty, and I've seen enough shitty shit that it doesn't hit you the same way it does when you're like 17, 18 years old.
I
you're
agree.
like,
well, your belief in love is different.
Yes.
First of all, like,
so
and like
what love is,
and the permanence of it is different.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm telling you guys, like when it's compounded with that element
Christianity
of like
or purity culture,
of like the amount of guilt you already feel and the amount of like self-justifications and mental gymnastics you have to do to convince yourself that it's okay that you had sex with somebody.
Right.
Because you're like, we're going to be together forever. This is my forever person. This is destiny. It doesn't matter.
So it's fine.
He's going to be the only person I ever sleep with. Like all of that stuff.
Doesn't matter when we start having sex.
Because it's only going to be one. Yeah. And so it's okay. You know, I had those justifications and stuff like that. And so like to have that person cheat on you.
Oof.
With just some random too.
Right. Yeah.
Which it's like that's why I think it had to have happened. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because I was like, he wouldn't. Maybe he'd make up that story to like
his
with
friends,
the guys
maybe.
Or whatever. But he would never have like brought that shit to Diane and then never would have killed. You know what I mean?
Right. And
he would have been like, they made it up. There would be no way
they
for
had
her
to have had some kind of relationship for him to be able to call her and get her to voluntarily leave to go see him.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not like they didn't know each other.
What did come out afterwards was her manager at work was like, oh my God, I fucking remember now that she showed me a picture in her wallet at one time, was like, this is David. So I wonder if they had like kind of a secret, like, don't fucking tell anybody.
Right.
Well,
I'm going to let you smash, but don't you fucking say anything.
It could also be a thing of like, she's a sophomore, he's a senior.
Mm-hmm.
We used to exchange our class photos with each other. I had class photos from
totally.
everyone.
Yep.
And if he gave her if she was crushing on him and he gave her a class photo, I could totally see her harboring this like secret
crush,
keeping his photo in her wallet and like all that stuff. So when she saw the opportunity to be like, he can take me home and, you know, I can seduce him, she was like, I could see it. I could see that happening to a teenage girl for sure.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I mean, it's just sad all around because it's like you're dealing with the teenagers are dumb. Like, you're dealing with like 16, 17-year-olds.
Right.
Like the amount of overreaction that goes on is insanity.
Yeah. This one just, I think it hits me home too because I'm like, when you have a big enough high school, you're like, I fucking went to school with these people. And then it's just like to have it end, you know, not in like a fist fight in the hallways, but like in a brutal murder is terrible. It's just tragic.
Me just, you know, blanket statement for all of our teenage listeners.
Talk to your mom.
Nobody's worth... No guy you're dating is worth killing somebody for, or vice versa. No girl you're dating is worth killing anybody for.
No,
it's just not.
Or crying about, really, if I'm honest. I mean,
but at least cry. Just
you know what? Deal with have your emotions. Cry. Talk to your mom. Talk to your girlfriends. You know,
or boyfriends,
and then
or boyfriends. Burn his picture. Yeah, do what you need to do.
But not a house or
and
anything,
then
like burn clothes. Or
fine.
And then get other guys to buy you pizza.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. There are many more pizza buying fish in the sea out there for you. All right.
Well, there you go.
Wow,
good one.
Well, what are we watching this week? What's the haps?
I watched You.
I started it. We have things to discuss.
So
I have not seen it yet. I love the fact that you texted me about his monologue about improv because I'm like, I have to watch it now.
Internal dialogue when he is watching the improv show, I was like, holy shit, this is so Christina.
I will say his monologue about improv, spot on. In LA. Improv culture in LA is like a cult, and it is, and it's weird. It is. It's strange. But everything else about Los Angeles, I'm like, this is really insulting.
It's a colored
actually
lens. It's a skewed lens of him just being anti-LA.
Well, it's also the way it's written, where I'm just like, okay, what kind of life do you think we live here? Where like it's just like you have a woman named Sunrise, a man named 40, and a woman named Love in the same friend group.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. Everybody's still named Chris here.
Everyone's a transplant. Yeah, I'm like, what world are we living in where everyone that you meet is a native from LA?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
no, that doesn't happen. Everyone's a transplant. Everyone's named Matt. Okay, calm down.
Yes,
okay, and I also think maybe it's this author who wrote the books because there was a peach in the last episode.
Oh, that's true.
Or in the last
like
season.
Those, like
weird
fun names.
Like, I'm like, nobody.
Do you remember like when you were younger? Did you ever do this? Did you ever have like get magazines and you would like name, like you were naming your children?
Oh, I kept lists.
Oh yeah.
You have names I liked. Yeah, I did. And they were weird names.
And they were always weird names.
Yeah.
Adidas.
Thank God I didn't have a kid at like 16. I would have named that kid. That kid would have been like Cassiopeia Persephone or something bizarre. You know what I mean?
I actually really like that.
Persephone's kind of cute.
I'd call her Perry. For short.
That's cute, actually. Yeah. All right, you've turned me back around on Persephone.
I like Persephone.
Yeah, I could get on board with that.
Little Perry.
But yeah, it would have been
porcupine.
It would have been weird. I would have done some weird shit. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that it's good because it's like
the Joe Goldberg memes are
cheesy.
life.
but it is entertaining.
Nice.
It is entertaining. I am
You
enjoying
can't look away. You cannot look away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. I am not going to say anything because if you haven't finished it and you haven't started, there's stuff to be given away.
Right.
Okay.
I've got time. I'll give it started. Okay. I watched one of the best movies I've ever seen this week, and it is Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, I just went and saw it a second time. Oh, Christina, I have got to talk to you about this because I went and saw it at the Directors Guild with Anthony because we'd seen it already. But I paid to go see it at the theater, and then we went and saw it at the DGA. They did a screening, and then afterwards, Taika, what's his name? Waititi. He came out and did a talk back.
Nice.
That man is like so magnetic in person.
I bet.
I saw him.
It comes off the screen.
And I was like, Christina would love him. Like, I was like, those two people should date because he's so fucking smart. He has like, he's got a New Zealand accent.
And so talented.
And
yummy.
Insanely talented. It was so fun because sometimes you see these talkbacks and I'm like we just got an invite to go do a screening for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Quentin Tarantino doing a talkback. I'm not interested in that because I don't want to hear Quentin Tarantino ramble for fucking like an hour. I'll ask Anthony. Yeah, I'll ask Anthony because
there you go.
I think it would drive me crazy to watch him talk for an hour, but this guy was
The movie is incredible. It is so intelligent to make such a satirical film that is so sweet,
heartfelt,
heartfelt. That little kid with the glasses.
And he was talking about talking about how that kid who I could not stop the first time I watched,
not stop watching him, and I just wanted to squeeze him,
giggling. Every time that kid was on screen, I was like leaning into Anthony and being like, "That's the cutest kid I've ever fucking seen.
It's the cutest fucking kid I've ever seen. He's so cute."
And he was saying in the talkback that both Roman, who plays the Jojo Rabbit, and that kid never acted before,
and
they're
brand new. Magnificent.
They're great.
They're so good.
And actually, Scarlett Johansson is great in it. She's good in it. It's a good. It's
Sam Rockwell and Rebel Wilson.
Rebel Wilson
is hilarious.
Underrated in that because she's actually really, really funny.
Shit, I want to go watch it right now.
Alfie Allen
so good.
is in it.
Love Alfie Allen.
He's really funny. He has kind of like a much subtler, more part.
Dry. Yeah.
But he's very funny. Stephen Merchant has like a cameo in it.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Yes.
How cute was Roman at the fucking Golden Globes?
Oh my God.
Magnificent.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Everybody should watch this movie because, I mean, it does, by being the way it is, it really, I think it just captures the absolute ridiculousn's of any kind of fanaticism.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then also, like, it's a sweet love story. It's just amazing. Just go watch it.
And it's so hard. Do you remember whenever I saw it and I was talking about it on this podcast and I was like, I don't know how to explain it to people.
Yeah.
Just go watch it because, and he was saying that during the talkback, he was just like, it was so difficult. I knew that this was a thing I couldn't pitch to people.
It? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I want to hear his pitch.
Luckily, he didn't have to do much pitching because it ended up on the blacklist or whatever, that like special list in LA of like the most popular or the best like the best screenplays that haven't been produced yet. A few years ago it ended up on that list, so luckily he didn't have to do a lot of pitching because how do you pitch a movie about Nazis with a Hitler imaginary friend in it with,
and comedic,
and it's comedic but
Hitler's
dramatic
funny.
But
yeah.
And that's what, because it's so funny and sweet, those moments where it actually does, it hits home worse.
Hard.
It hits home harder because you're disarmed. Because you're laughing and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck. This is real, though.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal. Okay.
Okay. Oh, I gotta watch it.
Yeah. So if you've got movie suggestions or shows for us to watch, honestly, this has become like kind of a script at the end. I just want to say thank you to everybody that writes in, that it's such a great thing to be able to like get up in the morning and have coffee and go on the Facebook group and interact with just a really amazing group of people. And I just thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for telling your friends, oh my God, you have to listen to this podcast. It's such a cool thing that like we have people that are like, oh, my friend told me I had to listen. And it's just going to grow step by step. We've got a lot of plans for this year. And we just really appreciate your help. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you.
Cheers.